덧붙여서 질문 드리고 싶은 것은 사적 관계를 넘어서서 사회적으로 굉장히 공격적으로 말도 안 되는 어떤 가짜 뉴스나 이런 걸 가지고 막 억지로 주장하는 사람들이 있거든요. 그런 분들을 대할 때 그러니까 모든 다양성을 다 중시할 수는 없잖아요. 모든 차이를 다 존중할 수는 없다고 보는데 그 경계선을 어디에 둬야 될지 그런 질문을 드리고 싶습니다.
Let me try, and then you tell me whether I've understood. All right? Yes, I'll count on you, Zelda and Aloha, to tell me if I understand correctly. As I understand it, you're asking about right action, right political action, correct, just, loving political action against violence in any direction. And this leads me to say and to affirm, as part of my bearing witness, that I have a profound belief in the importance and in the efficacy of non-violence. It seems to me that violent answers to our problems only lead to one more thing, which is more violence. And I've never understood, long run, why we are so wedded to the belief that violence solves problems. It sometimes gives a temporary fix, and there may be moments at which we have little or no choice. But we do have choices often. And when we have a choice, I think nonviolence is what moves us forward. I'm old enough in this country to remember the nonviolent social change movement of the mid-20th century in the United States, led by Martin Luther King Jr., whose focus, of course, was Black liberation, was the human rights and the voting rights of Black Americans who for 13 generations had been deprived of all of that and systematically deprived of generational wealth or opportunities to raise their children in healthy environments, safe environments, and all of that needed to change. And because of that nonviolent movement of the mid-20th century, because of that nonviolent movement of the mid-20th century, a great deal was achieved in law. Some of those achievements have now come undone, but in the past 65 years, a lot has been established that has given people of color in our society a much stronger political platform, has given them much amplified voices, and it was accomplished through nonviolence. My belief in resisting this current manifestation of authoritarianism, of racism, of homophobia, all of which is represented by the Trump administration, is that our resistance must be nonviolent. And there is in this country an organization that I regard as very important called Indivisible. Indivisible. They're online all over the place. And this is the organization that has been sponsoring and facilitating many, many efforts at nonviolent resistance to the current administration. This includes, as you probably know, if you follow events in the U.S., this includes these national days of protest, such as the No Kings Day, and more recently, one in honor of the great civil rights activist John Lewis, called the Make Good Trouble Day, or the Good Trouble Day, because John Lewis was famous for saying we must make good trouble in order to push back on racism and all the other isms. And millions of Americans, more millions every time one of these rallies is held, have come out for these rallies across the country. I believe the last major rally on a weekend, No King's Day, drew over 6 million people to the streets of America. And this is classic nonviolence. It has contributed, I'm quite sure, to the declining popularity of our current president in the public opinion polls. His poll numbers are now very, very bad. That does not mean that it will be an easy road to contain the destructive impact he's having on our democracy. But it at least establishes a foundation of popular support for anything but what we've got right now. So if I understood the question right, and please tell me if I didn't, I think it has to do with the importance of nonviolence and with all of the kind of education and training that goes into nonviolence, which we must never forget. The civil rights movement of the mid-20th century in this country, led by Martin Luther King Jr., was based on deeply thoughtful personal and group training of those who joined in the resistance. The training that allowed them to receive the blows of the nightsticks, the truncheons, the clubs of the police and the military without hitting back. And it was absolutely critical to the success of the movement. So most of the public forums we need to have around these issues, including, as you know, the work of the Center for Courage and Renewal and your own work in Korea, with which we're very much partnered and for which we're very grateful to you. All of that work of holding spaces, safe spaces for public dialogue, requires careful training and preparation of those who facilitate it. So I include the work of the Center for Courage and Renewal and the Gardening the People's Hearts. I include that in the toolkit of nonviolent social change, because it provides those safe spaces for discussion and for personal growth and for the growth of communities of resistance that we so badly need.